Hey y'all, what's good? Professor Lyrical, of course, chilling, doing lunchtime with Lyrical. I got my diet caffeine-free Coke, and really it should be snacks with Lyrical because I just had snacks. So, anyways, let's get right into it. I want to tell you why, as a college professor, I think that college is a waste of money. All right, so that's a little of a crazy title there. I figured I'd keep it as extreme as possible and maybe walk it back a little bit as we go. So here's why it's crazy. Most people go to college, or when you even say college or university, they think a big 4-year university with room and board away from parents and that kind of stuff. Almost a vacation for the parents and the students in some points, in some places, depending on where you go. But the price tag now is anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 for some of your top tier institutions. And if you multiply that by 4, if you're lucky, if you get out in 4 years, let's say you're doing 70 times 4, it's $280,000. Your future you will be mad at you if that's the investment that you made for your future, if you didn't have some or all of that heavily financed. Meaning financed percentage free, meaning that you have no interest on that, right? If you had some kind of a low interest loan, perhaps on a very lower amount of money, it's tolerable. But how are you going to pay that back? If you don't have work study or an athletic scholarship or an academic scholarship or some kind of job that you can do that's really a good job, and that doesn't take away from your studies, it's kind of a lethal combination of things you have to do to make it worth your while so that you get the most out of that education. Really, if you're not wealthy, let's just be honest, meaning if you don't have a family that can just pay for it, how could you possibly do that and say that it's a good return on your investment? Now you can, I guess, if you hit the jackpot and you meet an incredible connection, and let's face it, that's what you pay for to go to these institutions, right? Schools like Northeastern, where I taught for 7 years, an amazing school, top 40 school now, but it's co-op is really what drives that. It's got a co-op plan, and if you're not familiar with the terms, essentially an internship, a paid internship in most cases for a year, maybe 2, that you can do while you go to college, and it lengthens the amount of time it takes for you to complete the college degree. But you go to work for a real employer who pays you quality money, $20, $30, $40, $50 an hour. Plenty of engineers and business people working in great industries in and around Boston with the booming biotech market and the medical industry that's there, and high tech. Just an incredible opportunity, and Northeastern keeps climbing the charts because of it. And they're able to take the best and the brightest, and the GPAs and the requirements to get into Northeastern are incredibly choosy. You got GPAs well over a 4.0 to get in. So who can really afford that? Who can do that unless you want to play the lottery and get lucky and you can afford to do that? If you can't, why would you do it, right? Your future you will be mad at you because you'll be saddled with debt that you can't hope to pay off. So my question is, why not a community college for your first 2 years, or maybe a state school for your 4 years, or maybe a combination of both, right? First 2 years at the community college, then transfer into a state, or really if you knocked it out the park and got those academic scholarships that you needed to get by showing improving in your first 2 years and getting a GPA like a 3.5 or higher, probably some money's going to be thrown at you. Then it makes sense, right? You can go to those elite schools and maybe try to make some of those contacts from your peers, your faculty, the administrators, the people who come to your campus. It's probably very prolific if it's charging that much money. And of course we understand, when it's not COVID time, the nightlife in some of the major cities, these colleges are in, like Boston, it's a destination city. Places like I'm out here, DC. I understand if you want to come to a major city, or you're trying to go to New York, LA, wherever, markets like San Francisco, what have you, Atlanta. But if you're not going to like one of those top tier kind of places to be, right, for the business world and their environment and the nightlife, it's kind of like, why would you do it? Your future you will be mad at you when you come back with all that debt. So my solution: go to a community college and transfer to a state school if you didn't actually kill it there either. Because really, I went to a state school. I went to UMass Lowell. I got my bachelor's and my master's there, and I went to Northeastern for my doctorate. And really, the last degree is really the one that people look at the most. I mean, of course, people are going to ask you about your bachelor's, but how you did it is a great interview point. If you talk about that, you went, the first couple of years, community college, you transferred. I mean, essentially, you played the game and you did it frugally. And that's what people are going to look for. Somebody who can save them money, make good decisions, show that they have some grit and determination. And it's a wonderful sell in an interview, as opposed to I went to an elite institution, just because I was able to, and you didn't kill it. So my argument is, if you're coming out of an elite institution with like a 2.3 to a 3.0, as opposed to going to a state institution, you can come out and kill it with like a 3.5, 6, 7, something north of that. Well, why not save your money and show that you can do it there? And there's an argument to be made that the GPA could even be a little bit easier if you start out at a community college, where you typically have people trying to show you the ropes of college in your first year, or if not two. That's what community colleges are somewhat designed to do, right? It's not saying that it's easier, but they're showing you the ropes, so it becomes easier for you when you learn these things if you didn't have the cultural capital going in. You know, the classes are going to essentially be the same, but you might have better access to your faculty than you'd have at some of these more elite institutions. So think about all that, wrap it all up, and think about, you know, do you want to pay 10 years? Do you want to pay 10 grand a year for 4 years? Maybe 20 if you do a state school or so forth, and you're even if you're dorming. Or do you want to, you know, eat that up in one semester at an elite institution? You know, think about it. All right, thanks.